really looking forward to today's Blab. We have our special guest with us today, Dave Curley.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Dave. Welcome to the Lunch Blab.
Thank you.
So,
hey, Lisa, look at the camera.
Yeah, show us your.
my mouth's not in the right position for that. Hang on a second.
Well,
Let me
move the screen over. There you go.
I'm going to. You're so particular. Okay, guys, give me 1 second here.
Southpaws.
These particular people. Well, my mouse keeps dying on me, so I'm having to use a
new battery, maybe?
Yeah, no. I have 3 magic mice, and I think that's why they don't like to work very well. They fight with each other. So with that said, we're back with the Lunch Blab, and today we're going to start off the hour by the 30 minutes by talking about state of search.
Yes.
This past Monday and Tuesday, John and I spent 2 days there along with Dave Curley, which is where we got to hang out and chat about all the things that are going on in the digital world.
Several years.
Yeah. Or as it was affectionately being called on Twitter, the state of search fire hosing of information.
Yeah.
There was just so much information that was being shared this year, and 2 days of nonstop, essentially 8 to 9 hours a day of SEO goodies and technology that's associated to all of that is just an amazing piece of information. Yeah, if you haven't had the opportunity, for those of you that are on Twitter, definitely go out and take a look at the hashtags state of search and just see how much stuff was out there. I mean, there's literally tens of thousands of tweets out there on all kinds of just ideas, photos, thoughts, comments, and some really interesting threads too.
Some really interesting ones too, huh?
And definitely check out the photos and stuff from the Monday night halftime party that was at Trees and Deep Element here in Dallas. It was an entertaining evening, needless to say.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, Dave, what did you think about being in the state of search this year? Was this your first year being there?
It is, yeah. I came in as a vendor, actually, I was a vendor, yeah. So I came in as a vendor. The guy that runs the venue, Life at Deep Element, Monty Daniel, is a longtime friend of mine, and actually he does some programming on geekslife.com with myself and Luria Petrucci, formerly Callie Lewis, and David Foster. And so when he told me that they were doing this, and I said, well, hey, I could always use a gig. So if they need somebody to film it, then let me know. And he talked with them, and they said, yeah, we actually want a highlight reel. So hire Dave, and there I was.
Cool.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you're there. Quickly, I was going to tell you, Dave, since I know you're a video guy, you might yell at me if I don't tell you your mic seems to have a little hum now for some reason.
Mic is a hum?
Is it me, John? Is it on my end?
He's almost sounds like he's getting a little bit of Cylon-y kind of a sound to it. But it's kind of up and down a little bit, so it may just be the compression as it's going online.
Check.
So leading into state of search, I wrote an article on, I published it yesterday. I believe it was yesterday on the cool stuff I learned about Facebook beacons at state of search. Did you happen to drop into that session, Dave, at all?
No, I was running around. I was trying to make sure that I got,
pictures of everybody
of the speakers and just getting something from them. So I was in and out, and I was interviewing people in the hallways and all that sort of stuff. So I heard a whole lot of stuff in passing. I actually sat down for a few of the sessions, as they got started. I would shoot for a little bit, and I would just go sit down and give my feet a rest and listen. The beacon thing I've known about for years, but as I understand it, it's finally starting to kind of come into its own.
Yeah, it amazes me. And Casey, and I believe his last name is Marquis. Is that correct, John?
I don't remember how to say his last name. I just remember it was Casey, and I tweeted his stuff a lot.
He opened my eyes to the potential of beacons. And so I published an article about it, and John and I have been talking all week about how we could use beacons. So, next time someone walks in our office, they shouldn't be surprised if they get a push notification on their phone that says, "Welcome to the branding den."
That's cool.
I mean, we're crazy. It's just, I really want to see how to leverage this for us as part of our branding for the branding team, but also how the agency side can leverage it for the clients, because I think
here's a question: are the beacons strictly geographic, as in a pinpoint on the map, like a certain GPS coordinate within certain latitude and certain longitude, low margin of error, and you're going to get it, like if you drive by? Or can you make yourself a beacon? So when I walk up to you, then all of a sudden a little push notification says, hey, go shake that guy's hand.
I think you map out, from my understanding, what I've read so far, is you map out the facility of
Okay.
whatever location you're in,
Okay.
and then you have the little beacon, which is a little device. They're like as little as $5. John, you should have brought our prop in.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm actually texting Jacob now to see if he has it with him.
I can see that now. We might have a pop in a second, but it's literally a little device, and you hold it in your hand, and it's half the size
Right.
of this right here to give you. This is a case for your earbuds on your
Right.
iPhone that they give you. Half the size of this, and you position them around the room. And then once you map the location, you set whatever places you want the beacons to go off. From my understanding, we haven't physically played with the
Right.
one we
Yeah,
have
he's got
yet.
it with him. He's going to bring it to me.
Yeah. So basically, as you walk through a store, when you get to a certain area, it could say, hey, T-shirt are half off on this rack. You can get something like that.
It basically has a broadcast range,
Right.
and it sounds like that it actually has a bunch of. Oh, that's the whole thing. So here is a beacon.
Cool.
Oh, it's
And so it's literally a small box.
Is it passive or active?
It is passive. Or
does it have a battery?
Yeah, it's got a battery in it.
Little
The
battery.
battery
Put
is.
that thing in your back pocket.
I'm sorry.
You could put that thing in your back pocket and walk around and have people's phones start going off.
Yeah, you could literally do that. How fun would that to be at a networking event, to have a beacon in your pocket and it pushes out your Twitter handle to them?
That would be extremely cool.
It sends out a low Bluetooth signal. Is from from what I was reading and researching, and from what Casey said, it sends out a low Bluetooth signal to people that have their Bluetooth on their phones, and it doesn't use Wi-Fi, which I think is cool. The person doesn't actually have to be on the Wi-Fi to make it work. And you run them in conjunction with, say, an app. Data Search had an app that they use the beacon with. Cool. And then what were you saying, John?
This is so cool. The potential is really anything you want to have. So think about if you're at a trade show, you could have this at your booth at a trade show and literally have push notification sent out to people. Hey, go here and download our white paper, save a tree. You could. How about this might be kind of a fun thing to do since they are so inexpensive. I mean, this literally is, I think, one of the $5 models. How about if you were to do a beacon scavenger hunt? And literally,
that would be awesome.
Ooh, this is the new geocaching.
Yeah, totally.
If you've ever done geocaching, how about if because I've done a little bit of geocaching, and literally they have coffee cans, things like that are the cache that you're trying to find. How about if you were to put a beacon in your cache so that literally you were able to check in on Facebook or whatever based on that beacon?
Okay, I've got it. It just came to me. So we're going to send out through a beacon a scavenger hunt.
Yeah. And literally you go try and, find 10 beacons or whatever, or that even
really cool. I could see our youth group doing something like that, buying, $100 worth of beacons, and then, like going out and setting them at various people's houses and stuff, where it's almost like a hot and cold kind of thing. So like you go find something at some place, it's like you're getting warmer. I mean, you could actually have beacons that are guiding you a little bit. Oh, you're getting cold. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this could be pretty freaking cool.
That would be hilarious. So it's interesting, the technology that we've came up with. When I started the Blab, I talked about how, thanks to technology, I get to be at home today taking care of my 7-year-old, and I get to be on this Blab at the same time. So it's pretty cool when you think about it. Moving on, beacons are so cool, but I'm going to move on to another subject for just a minute here, and we're going to talk about the next thing on the list. Thinking about mobile, okay? So Alex from Target, you know who Alex from Target is, Dave Curley?
Is that the dog?
And so around this time last year, and I forgot to chat the link to the Beacon article. I'm going to chat that for y'all.
Yes.
Okay. Just check it. I don't know if it's like Target Digital or, Target Marketing International or some weird.
So Alex from Target, we hired Bernadette Coleman with Advice Interactive Group.
And we just lost Lisa.
All right. I've been waiting for this to happen.
So I get to pick up here, and so Alex about a year ago was at Target, and a customer, he was sacking stuff at Target.
Guys, I've lost audio, so
we can hear you.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I think we're still good for you and I, Dave. So We'll let Lisa play with what she's doing. So we can hear you. Anyway.
Okay, am I in here with y'all?
Yeah, you're in here. Let me.
I have no audio. John, you take over for a few minutes.
Yeah, I am. So anyway, these girls took a picture of him at the checkout and posted it on, I guess it was Twitter or something, like just saying, man, they have the cutest, employees at Target. Well, overnight, the tweet went, the image went viral.
Wow.
And I mean, viral as in, Alex thought his phone was messing up. He was getting so many push notifications from Twitter that his phone was just sucking the battery down.
Okay, I'm looking.
And the manager of the store came to him and was talking about, do you realize what's going on right now? And literally that evening, the Ellen DeGeneres show was calling him saying, we want to get you on the show. And 2 days later, he was being sent out to LA to record an episode of Ellen with the gang out there.
Within a matter of moments, he became a brand ambassador at Target.
Yeah. Cool. It just exploded. Yeah. If you haven't seen it, it's pretty interesting to go out and kind of look at some of the history of it and all of that.
Well, I just did a search for Alex from Target, and there are hundreds and hundreds of photos.
Oh yeah. And he's literally, he's working it, and his dad's actually a marketing guy, and they're working that to actually make it to where he can pay for his college riding this wave that he's done.
Hey, why not? That's awesome.
Why not? So, Lisa, are you back with us now?
I'm back now. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened there for a second, but anyway, so what I was saying, and I don't know what I missed of it, but
so I was explaining the background of how he got to be who he was, and now we are up to the point of what you had in our show notes there. So
Alex from Target, so he released. Okay, guys, this is not my day. Maybe I should have taken it as a hint that I should have just hit out. So Alex from Target recently just released a video on local site submit, and I shared the link with y'all. But basically what it's saying is that 82% of smartphone users search online before they buy a product or service. And what I really want to talk about that is just the fact that mobile is just crazy, just the potential of it.
Yeah, mobile is huge. I was one of the sessions that I was actually just chilling in. I wish I could remember who it was. But what he was saying, he gave the statistic that it's something like on a global stage, like over 85% of the traffic on the internet is coming from mobile. So as countries are coming online, it's easier to deploy a cellular network, a 4G network, 3G, 4G network, than it is obviously to bury wires and string wires and do stuff like that. So you've got these countries that are coming online, and it's happening because they're going out and getting cell phones. And it could be flip phones, it could be very low-end Android phones and stuff. But if they're coming online, and that is where it is, and they were telling us from a design standpoint that we need to be designing our websites and our content to be consumed on mobile first, and then on the desktop. secondary. Don't design everything for the desktop and then, hope that it squeezes down and looks nice. Be thinking mobile first. And I can see that being an extremely valid point when you're a global brand. But even here in the U.S., more and more our children are using the mobile devices. My girls are either using their Chromebooks or their Samsung phones or their tablets for most stuff. Now they come in and they get on the TV and they watch Netflix or they watch something from my Plex server. But largely, right now, I have a daughter who's home today and she's laying in bed with her phone, taking a nap, listening to music. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
My daughter watches Netflix on her phone and her iPad,
Yep.
and it's so funny because she'll watch it until the battery drains on one, and then switch to the other while the other battery charges. She even uses my portable battery packs. I don't have one laying on my desk.
Yes,
to charge her phone so she can continue to watch it.
Yeah, all of ours are actually in our daughter's bedroom next to the bed now. All the little pucks and stuff that we, remote charging with.
It's so funny.
Yeah, Dave, I think I was actually in the same presentation you were because, the other thing that I pulled from that presentation was the fact that what was it, earlier this year, mobile searches on Google surpassed desktop. And the presenter actually followed up said that it will never revert back the other way again.
Right.
Mobile will always be the predominant search on Google. So I think that makes it even more important for us to, be thinking about some of that as business owners and entrepreneurs. You've got to make sure that everything, like you mentioned, is out of the box. First and foremost, a mobile friendly experience.
Right. And
and with so many different devices, it's really hard to make sure you're mobile for every one of them and that they're all perfect. I mean, because there's so many of them, it's a real challenge. I mean,
it is. John, you were saying that we're not going to go back. The fellow that was our last keynote speaker,
right, Dwayne Forrester.
Yes. Dwayne had that one of the new Windows phones, and something he said, and I've not really paid attention to the Windows phones. Only thing I pay attention to is when I see them that Microsoft has sponsored a given TV show like Hawaii Five-0. They're all using Windows tablets, Windows phones, all that sort of stuff. Except for the bad guys, they use iPhones and Samsungs.
Ooh, phone stereotyping.
Yeah, kind of like in Star Wars, all the bad guys have British accents, But one of the things that he said was that with the latest phone, that everything is there. He goes and puts that thing on his desk, and all of a sudden it's paired up with a keyboard and a screen, and it's kind of like that Motorola Atrix that came out like 3 or 4 years ago, where that was the brain.
Right.
I have one out in my garage actually. You have this little thin netbook, really thin, like thin like the latest iPad Air. And you just pop it up, drop this thing in the back of it, and then that powered it, and it was basically a big screen for your Android device. But that is the next iteration as far as that's going to be becoming more and more commonplace. So we're not going to go back, but the screens are going to be getting bigger and smaller and going to be shrinking how we want to do it. I mean, we can come in now and have a projector and we can cast to the projector and see it on there. We've got Chromecast, we've got all that stuff. So you have to design for mobile first. But one of the things that I have noticed, there's a pastor that I fall in love with this guy. His name is Greg Laurie, and his website is harvest.org or harvestamerica.com, and they have an app. This is a church that is a multi-location church. So they've got like one in
right. They have a lot of satellites.
Right, a lot of satellites and stuff. And they have this app that basically is on every platform, and I mean it's on the Roku, it's on Android, it's on Windows Phone, it's on iPhone. And I have an Android device in my kitchen that I've got a 23-inch television hooked up to. And I loaded up the app, and the video is they're doing everything right except for this one thing. The video is all pixelated. And it's because the apps that they're they're doing everything for a small screen. So you can have a low bitrate video on a small screen that's going to look nice and sharp and great, but when you go to blow it up, that's
right.
Right.
So they're doing it on. Well, that's interesting that you say that, because one of the people listening to our chat, JL Denhart, is saying that, you know, what he foresees is that the only thing that's going to overtake mobile is going to be wearables or implantables. And so maybe your church, you know, they'll be ready for the
right.
go into the smartwatch, right?
Well, and they will, but that's one of the things is that you do it from a design standpoint so that there's a consistent experience, you know, across the various devices, big or small. But the content itself needs to be scalable as well, and it needs to be something where, you know. And I know a lot about this stuff, but I still don't completely understand. You know, there's a way that you can say, if you're on this device, stream this version. If you're on this device, stream this version, and you can do.
You can,
you know,
code that a little bit.
Like right now, we're streaming video, so the people that are watching this, if their connection is slow, then we get all, you know, silent-y, and when the video gets all pixelated. If they're on a fast one, they're seeing it as good as we're seeing it here. So, but that's for streaming. Now we're talking about progressive downloads. So now we have to be able to say, do the 480 version that's 15 frames a second. Oh, here, do the 1080 version that's 30 frames a second.
It's interesting you say that, and this is interesting, but we're going to have to move on to the next topic, because I have a lot of stuff I want us to get covered today. And so I'm sharing a link right now, and this is to an article about this super simple secret to boost engagement. And this was actually on let's see, this article was on I thought it was Jeff Bulla's blog, but evidently not. So now y'all are going to have to bear with me. This was from Marketing Land. Yeah, this one's from Marketing Land, and I picked out several articles that I want us to talk about today. And I thought it was interesting what they were saying in this article about how to boost engagement. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to bring it up. And what it talks about here is emojis. And this was actually by Larry Kim. And it's so interesting. He talks about emojis and how they make such a difference. I'm laughing at Dave's Dave's symbols. But I chatted the link so y'all could look at this article to those that are listening to the show or later. But it's talking about how social networks and operating systems even know the power of emojis, and so they're optimizing for them. And I just thought it was really interesting what he said about how using an emoji in your social media post just totally increases the engagement. What do y'all think about him?
Well, I think it cheeses it. You know, when I'm tweeting or when I'm texting somebody something, I'll send you a text and I'll make a, like, really dry, snide remark. I'm going to put a wink in it or something like that, just because, you know, the message is in the person, or the meaning is in the person, not in the message. So you have to embellish with a smiley face or, you know, something like that. So I understand that.
Right.
I find myself when I'm writing a blog post or an article or an email or something that I'm doing it as well. I'm putting a smiley face. And in an email that's informal, I have no problem with that. But when I notice myself doing it when I'm actually publishing an article, then I think, okay, I'm 43, I'm an adult, I'm college educated, I know how to communicate. So I'm not going to LOL, and I'm not going to smiley face and do anything like that, because I know how to write.
It's interesting you said that, because it's true, because you do it so much that you have a tendency to think. It just comes naturally to think about it and to do it when you're writing or when you're posting, right. Or, you know, when before the smartphone started adding them and you had to go out and download an app in order to have emojis. I remember me and my mom were such nerds. We tried to see how many sentences we could send to each other with just icons and no words.
Oh, man. Oh, I see you ate one.
Yeah, I think JL's actually got a good comment that he just put in on the side there. You know, it's a way of, as he said, humanizing, or more importantly, it's adding emotion to the message that we're putting in there. And even think about what Apple did with their latest iOS update. You know, they added, what was it, 120 or something like that, new emojis in the
And they used to
system.
not have any.
Well,
I mean, they didn't
okay.
have any when I first got my phone.
And yes, it does add that, and that's why we do it like in texting and stuff like that, because the very first thing I learned in school, in my communications class and in radio and television and all that sort of stuff, they kept hammering home that the meaning is in the person, not in the message. So you have to try to convey the message to pull or push a meaning into that person so that they will get the message properly. So when you're texting and you're saying, you're doing a your mom joke or something like that, then you want to make sure that you have a wink in there to know that it's tongue in cheek, you're playing, goofing off. But again, when you're writing a blog post, I don't remember Ernest Hemingway ever putting a smily face. He used his words to convey the message, and
I've never seen a blog post from Ernest Hemingway.
You know what I'm saying?
If you find a blog post from Ernest Hemingway, I want you to send it to me, Dave. So I thought this other article that I just shared the link to, and this is the one that was on Jeff Bulla's blog. Considering we were talking about how adding emojis to your social media post can boost engagement, I thought this article from Jeff Bulla is about how 2 emotions to exploit and to avoid in social media can help your marketing. So here's the things he said to avoid: joy, which I was surprised about, and sadness. And then he said, which these emotions to use don't surprise me at all, anger. Well, anger really doesn't surprise me because people just thrive on that on social. It's disappointing. And then surprise. But joy, I was surprised because I always like to share when I'm really happy on social media, and it seems to get people engaging a lot. What have you noticed? What do you think, John? What do you think, Dave?
Well, first off,
so I think it's kind of interesting because
Ernest Hemingway wrote for the Toronto Star.
Yeah,
I believe, when he came back from World War I. So there's lots of blog posts by Hemingway.
I'm gonna go find one right now while y'all are debating this, and I'm gonna share it.
So I think that an interesting thing that is, and I think I've just totally lost my train of thought here. Where was I going with this? Oh, I was gonna talk about Facebook a little bit from the standpoint of Facebook's almost become a political and religious platform for people. I mean, or it might have even been you, Dave, that posted the other day a comment about not wanting to, or maybe it wasn't you that made a comment about not wanting all of these religious posts out there or something like that.
Let's see.
Oh, Dave gave us an article. Good.
Yeah.
Hey, you were fast.
I knew he was a columnist. I knew that.
A free shave. Submitting your face to beginners.
Or I could share this. There was a really funny post that someone put on Facebook. I guess it was yesterday, that they had posted an obituary. They actually took a picture of the newspaper, and at the end of the guy's obituary, it said, "In lieu of flowers, please don't vote for Hillary."
Oh, goodness. Hey, this is not a political show, John.
Well, I know, but it just proved the point that people are using it for a political platform. I mean, just think of how much stuff is out there.
Well, and I think sometimes, honestly, that I think people share too much sometimes, I mean,
how many
I shared a video. Huh?
How many cats do you have?
I don't have any now, but I didn't share that on Facebook. But I did have 13 for those listening at one time. I remember a lot of people
sharing at lunch. Yeah.
So, people do share too much sometimes. And sometimes I think they need to limit who they share it with. I posted a picture of my daughter last night. She's studying her spelling words. I hate that she missed her test today because she was ready for it. She's saying every spelling word to me. She spelled them to me perfectly as long as I would let her sing them. But, I did share a video, but I limited who I shared it with. But Facebook, and this leads in perfect to our next topic here. Facebook wants to start helping people avoid their post breakup drama. I thought this article was interesting that I
Wait,
found. Actually, John found this is one you found, isn't it, John?
Yeah, that's one I sent to you.
Facebook has actually made it so now when you break up with somebody and you change your relationship status, it'll ask you to see less of your ex online.
Well, that's actually pretty good.
I think it's hilarious.
That helps get rid of the. It's funny that you said this, which apparently is the phrase of the show. The other night at our church's youth group, the youth pastor was talking about the awkwardness of dating in the youth group and then the breakup, and now well, I'm his friend, but I'm her friend, so it's all awkward and stuff. And I can see that kind of stuff happening on Facebook. It's like, well, I mean, we've been friends for 20 years, and then they broke up, and I don't want her to see me commenting on his posts, but there's all that weird stuff.
Well, when I was actually in a relationship a couple of years ago, and I had put it on Facebook, and I made it private so the only person that could see it was me and that one other person, and nobody else knew because I didn't want all the drama.
That's funny.
And it was nice because when I changed it back, I didn't have any drama to go along with it.
That's great.
It was like a secret relationship, right?
Listen, I'm going to go see who John's broken up with.
I don't think
I'm boring.
You won't have anything on there.
If it isn't professional or maybe an occasional picture of my cat or what I'm having for dinner, it doesn't really get posted
so
online.
After 8 years, I'm not your friend. I just need a friend request. Would you mind, accepting it, John?
Well, John's so particular about his friends.
Oh man. I guess since we've eaten lunch together now, I can be your friend, Dave.
Yeah, but don't try to connect with him on LinkedIn because that's another whole qualification status to get to be connected on LinkedIn. We'll have to tell you about that.
I think I'm already connected to him on LinkedIn.
What did Facebook like to play?
My ex-husband, he wasn't on Facebook when we divorced. I would have really enjoyed getting to put divorce, Brooke Duty, and celebrated that on Facebook. But he didn't have a Facebook account at the time. Can I go back and post it down, backdate it?
Well, I don't know. Facebook's allowing you to backdate stuff, aren't they?
Hey, that would be kind of weird, though. I think if I went and backdated in a relationship and then divorced, they might.
That explains why they've got the timeline with gigantic gaps, because I look at my timeline thing and it's 1972, the event Dave Curley is born, and then it's silent until 6 years ago or 7 years ago or whatever it was. So, can I go back in and say, 1976 July 4th, watch my dad perform in the town bicentennial?
You
program?
could. Oh, we ought to do a test, and we got to go in and fill 10 prior past events and see what people have to say about it.
I can get some pictures from the bicentennial and put that in there and see. That would be dated for July 4th, 1976. That'd be cool. All right.
That would be. So up next on our topic, and we since we got started late, we're going a little over today.
We're taking a long lunch. Just a martini lunch.
Up next one is the new Google Plus. Have y'all looked at it?
I actually haven't.
Every few days.
Is that social media site still alive?
You're a photographer.
3 days ago, Google Plus rolled out a change, and you actually have to accept to go ahead and go for it right now.
Okay, I'm in it.
And I have to tell you, I had a friend texting me about it. John Sparks actually texted me and said, "Hey, talk about Google Plus today on the Blab, and the fact that you cannot find Hangouts anywhere now."
Yeah,
I mean, he said it's difficult to find. I can't find it at all. If I find it, I'll let you know.
Hangouts is a plugin that you can put in, or an app a desktop app that you can install.
So now you have to install it as a desktop app to have it.
Yeah, they already put it as a desktop app. So I'm looking at my my toolbar here, and next to my URL, my different Chrome extensions, and one of them is the Hangouts thing. So if I want to chat with somebody, or if I want to start a Hangout and do a video Hangout or a Hangout on air or whatever, you can go that way. And then you can also, like, if you want to do a Hangout on air, you can go through the YouTube route.
Okay, so the best way to do it now is to install the app in your browser, like an extension, Dave?
Yeah, it's an extension.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Well, good to know. Well, we'll have to install that because we actually do use those at the office sometime.
Let me find it. I'll put a link.
So next up for us to discuss is 4 unique ways to use video and reach your list. Now, this article was published on Rocks Digital by Byron Ingram this week, and he had some really interesting ideas in there about how to use video. And so, Dave, I'm gonna tell you what ideas he came up with, and then I want to see what your feedback is on them. Okay, if you think they're so one of them that he came up with is the first one is to create a personalized video for top referring clients. What do you think about that?
A personalized video for what?
For top referring clients.
Give me an example.
Like, say, somebody that gives them a lot of referrals and, to thank them for all the referrals.
So go ahead and do a little pro bono work for them. Just, hey, thanks a lot. I'll produce your next video for free, that kind of deal.
Right. What do you think about making a custom video for your top referral clients? Maybe like send it to 10 or 15 that always give you referrals. Do you think it'd be cost effective, and do you think people would?
Okay. Well, hang on. I'm still not understanding the purpose of this video. So for my top referring clients, making a custom video for them, meaning?
No. For your top referring clients, you make them a video, but you make hey, I would go on and record a video that says, hey, John Doe, I want to thank you so much for your business and everything you've done for me this year.
Okay.
Video greeting card.
A video greeting card.
What I would do, personally, I wouldn't do that. What I would do is I would go onto their Facebook page and say something like their company Facebook page and thank them. I may put something on my Facebook stream that is promoting them and talking about how great they are, and then I would use them as examples in my, like on my website or in my articles or in training or something. I would do something to promote them, to push more business to them. Now,
as a way to thank
Christmas or something like that, I may send them a bottle of wine or something like that, just as a, hey, you've been so helpful, thank you, I love you. But sending them a video, that's like leaving a message. So I personally wouldn't do that. I want to jump. I would tend to do something that's going to help drive business to them on my behalf, from me saying, hey, as well as referring people. But then I'd want to go analog and send a thank you note, handwritten or something.
Send something physical. One thing that I thought was interesting that Byron had as an idea is to, and he actually talked about this before in another concept, is to, in order to say reach a target audience, like say you're wanting to get in front of John Doe. Okay, we're just going to use John Doe again. You're wanting to get in front of John Doe. And so to do it, what you do is you make a video and you target him through target that particular person through a Facebook ad.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that makes complete sense, especially if they're not following you. If they're completely unaware of you, that makes complete sense. That's worth $10 or whatever it is. And it's that specific. Or if there's a handful of people in that industry who want to target these agencies or these plumbing companies or something like that, yeah, I could definitely see that. Absolutely.
One other thing that he suggested, which I thought that maybe we should try out, John, was attaching a video in an email through Google Drive, because then people would Gmail, the video would actually play within the email. Have you had any experience with that?
Oh, sure, yeah. Yeah, in fact, I'm sending a couple of samples from a shoot I did the other day to the client. Like, hey, can you drop these in Google Drive? So when I drop them in Google Drive and send the email with links, they'll be right there, just like a PDF or anything like that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing I have seen, and I'm trying to remember where I saw this. I can't place the reference, but it's absolutely genius. there's a contractor, and I could swear he's up here. And this guy, when he goes out and say he's redoing your house, doing some renovation on your house, and so at the end of the day, contractors, they sub out a whole lot of stuff. So he may have 5 or 6 job sites, and they drive from job site to job site and check it out at the end of the day, and talk to the guys, and okay, tomorrow be sure you do this, all that kind of stuff. So what he does during that time is he uses, for the life of me, I can't even remember the app, but he walks around recording on his phone a video showing, here's what we did today. So today we replaced your shutters, and we put the new gutters up. We think that the paint choice that you chose, Miss Smith, for the shutters is a little too dark. I would suggest that we try lightening these up. Drop me a note and let me know if you want us to do that for you. In fact, we did one with that color. What do you think? And he walks around the house, and it's this little 3D, kind of like a 360 video that he's doing. You can click and move in it, but it's not a full 360 video. So, but if he's walking down the side of the house, you can turn and take a look at something. Anyway, he sends these out in an email update to each of the clients that he's working with, basically giving them an overview of what was done at the house.
That's pretty
Those
cool.
are really cool. I'm actually Googling right now trying to find I think that's the camera that we have. I think they're using that Ricoh Theta camera. It sounds like.
Not that. He's doing it on his phone. And turnaround on that is nearly instantaneous, because I was looking at going, gosh, how does this guy have time to do this? And whoever I learned about this from was saying, no, this guy uses it on his phone, and there's an app, and it within this app, and I can't remember what it was. But
that's why I was thinking it was the Ricoh Theta. That's why I was thinking it was the Ricoh Theta, because it isn't actually an app that you can install on your phone. And I wrote 3D camera, not 3D camera. But it's an app that you put on your phone, and you shoot, but you do use the camera to shoot the video. So that can't be it. That's really interesting. I love that idea.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the Ricoh Theta right there. You have it, huh?
Yeah, it's ended up in my office.
Oh yeah.
But it's cool because it's got 2 fisheye lenses on both sides of it. It's doing a 360 instant photo.
But see, I think it connects to you do have an app on your phone. I think they connect.
Yeah, you have an app on your phone with this device that allows you to do the shutter from it.
Okay,
So it's pretty neat.
Yeah, but this is something that when I found out he was just doing it on his phone, and then when he gets back into the truck, he sends it. I mean, it is. Yeah,
that's
it's
cool.
A very fast turnaround. It's a huge value, especially for a contractor that, if you've got people that own multiple houses, and they either renovate and flip, or they renovate and then rent them out.
I bet as a customer.
Yeah, I may not be at the house that's being renovated today. I may have 5 houses, and this guy's renovating all 5 of my houses, and I live in Sanger. So, at the end of the day, he's like, okay, over at the house on Wimbledon, we did this, we did this, we did this, we did this. And then another email comes in, okay, over at the house on James, then we did this. I mean, that's just brilliant, as opposed to the owner of the house having to go out and take a look at it, or meet him at a certain point. You meet him at a certain point for the really large decisions, like, we have to do this, or we have to do that. But this is update, and do you want us to change this or change this? I mean, that's just brilliant.
Yeah, I love it.
And he could even very easily spin that in even to a marketing tool that he can use as, hey, we go above and beyond and keep you updated every single day with the project.
I don't know where it is. This was at helpmybusiness.com. That's one of the.
You're going to have to find out, and you can comment on our show notes from this and give us the link to it, Dave, when you find it. So we have one topic left to cover, and then we're going to end here because we're over. Well, we're about on time right now. We're probably over about 5 minutes. So the last thing we're going to discuss is using your strengths to connect and sell more. So this was an article that was published this morning, actually just an hour and a half ago on Rocks Digital. For those of you listening that didn't realize, Rocks Digital is a content site, and we publish 3 to 5 times a week. We have a podcast, and then we have the Blab on Fridays, just like this, where we're just talking and having fun and discussing. And I thought this article by Debbie Mrazek was really interesting. And it, to me, I always look into an article and I think, well, so how can I apply this? What is the deeper meaning? And so to me, it talks about how I can use my strengths to connect and sell more. But as she introed with, you're selling no matter what you do, whether it's a physical product or service. You're selling to your boss an idea, like yesterday when I asked Bernadette, hey, I want to go check out Guy Kawasaki at Social Media Dallas. I'm selling the idea to her, why is this going to benefit the company? So you're selling no matter what. And so this article is about identifying your personality traits, and the major ones that she highlights is empathy, focus, responsibility, and optimism, and figuring out which ones you have, and maybe also, in my opinion, which ones you don't have, so that you can do a better job at connecting with people.
Yeah, that's cool. And because, we all understand that, there's certain personality types that make better salespeople. And how, for those of us that don't exactly want to be in sales, what can you do to leverage the strengths that you do have? So, yeah, I think this was a pretty cool article that she put together.
Looking at it, I think focus is one of my strengths. I don't know. I am optimistic, but I'm not going to keep coming to somebody if they turn me away. So I don't think that's one of the strongest ones for me, but I think focus, and then I think empathy is really important. Understanding what your client or your coworker or whatever it is they're struggling with, so that you can help them better. I think those are the ones that for me was stuck out. What about you, Dave?
The empathy thing is really huge. Doing video production for however many decades of doing it now, one of the things that I've learned is that everybody's calling me. One of the things that I learned is that you have to listen more than you talk. You have to listen to what the client or the person is asking for, which may not be necessarily the words that they're using. Does that make sense?
Right.
So,
there's
for anybody who does video production or any kind of creative work knows that you can give the client what they ask for, or better, give them what they need. And, I have people that say, oh, we want a 3-minute video, or we want a 5-minute video. And I say, you want a 5-minute video, or do you want to get the message across? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I can maybe get the message across in an extremely effective way in 55 seconds, or, we just want a quick 2-minute video and there's a million things we want to say. It may be a 7-minute video,
Right.
Yeah, and a 7-minute video is probably not the best one unless you're.
No, it depends on what the purpose of that video is, because if it's a instructional video, 7 minutes is pretty good.
Yeah, those are going to be longer for sure.
Completely across.
Well, Dave, I really appreciate you being on the show with us today and having these discussions. Quickly tell people how they can find you online, so they can find you and ask you more great questions about video, since that is your area of expertise.
Thank you. First and foremost, you can go to davecurley.com, and I am currently in the middle of a redesign. So there's just a splash page right there. Drop me your email and we'll stay in touch. You can also go to facebook.com/TheDaveCurley. That's my public figure page. And then I'm at Dave Curley on Twitter.
And on Blab, evidently.
And on Blab. And I have a YouTube channel, but there's not a whole lot of stuff there. I haven't put much stuff there. So anyway, you can also find me over at geekslife.com, where we are producing all kinds of great content. And
you definitely have to go to geekslive.com. Everybody that's listening now, and then those that are going to be listening later, you have to check out all the great things that they've done over there. Callie Lewis is still involved in that, correct, Dave?
Yes.
Callie and Dave, and it's awesome. So y'all definitely need to check it out.
Well, it's now,
and
Lori.
Now it's actually going by her given name, which is Luria Petrucci. So
I noticed she changed her name, but I didn't know that.
Yeah, She did. Callie Lewis was the stage name she came up with back in 2005. And it's easier to say Callie Lewis than it is Luria Petrucci. And so from a branding standpoint, it makes sense to do Callie Lewis. At some point, and if you watch her TEDx talk, she explains about, I'm not going to say losing herself in Callie Lewis, but getting confused because Callie Lewis, just an example, Callie Lewis likes bacon. Okay, well, Luria Petrucci likes bacon. Callie Lewis, from a entertainment standpoint, likes bacon. But, Luria Petrucci would take a sausage patty over a piece of bacon, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Little things like that the brand is associated, and now you're associating that with the person. So at some point, she recorded a video and said, hey, this is Luria, and, we were going to be using Luria as all the behind-the-scenes stuff, the me to you talking to the audience as opposed to the highly produced things. And people just started freaking out. They're like, oh my gosh, you're going by your real name? Yay, that's great. So, everybody jumped on board. And so we were like, okay, well, she's going to go by Luria now. So
I know nothing about having name confusions, do I, John? Nothing at all.
And how many S's do you have in your name?
Yeah. I changed my name when I was 15, Dave.
Yeah, you were going to be cool, so you threw an S in there?
Well, yeah, we can just call it that. We'll just call it that and leave it there. With that said, everybody, thanks for joining us today for the Rocks Digital Lunch Blab. We've had a great time. We come to y'all every Friday at 12 Central. We are going to skip next Friday because I have to tell you, I will be out shopping like crazy.
Under the influence of turkey.
Under the influence of shopping for me. But with that said, thanks everybody for coming out and watching. And this will be archived, so more people will be watching it on YouTube. And you'll never be able to get out of all these things we said today, Dave. They're stuck with you now.
Okay, that's great. Well, thanks for inviting me, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Good talking
Y'all have a great day.